meeting started and let's get going. Before we begin, Susan Mercado, the principal at Maple, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. Please stand. Join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do have a couple of items to report out of closed session. The board took action in closed session to approve a final settlement compromise and release agreement between the Fullerton School District and the parents of student ID number 686113 for reimbursement for reasonable attorney fees and costs upon presentation of documents that were identified in the agreement, which is case number 20110304243 in the total amount of $25,340. And also on this date, June 7th, 2011, the board reviewed a request for a stipulated expulsion concerning student case number 1011-12, and we will now take action on that request. It is a recommendation of the Administrative Review Committee that the student be expelled from all schools and programs of the district for the spring semester of 2010-2011 school year, which ends June 17th, 2011, and the fall semester of the 2011-2012 school year. The board finds that the student has violated Education Code 48915C, 48900A1, 48900B, and 48900K. Readmission to the district at the end of the expulsion period will be contingent upon satisfactory completion of the rehabilitation plan pursuant to California Education Code 48916. The student may apply for readmission at the end of the expulsion order. Is there a motion to approve the findings and recommendations of the Administrative Review Committee?
I absolutely agree.
It's been moved. Is there a second? I second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0, and this concludes action on this matter. And my next announcement is that the board meeting is audio and video recorded and may be streamlined to the internet. I have no public comment slips, so let's move on to our introductions and recognitions. And I think it might be fun to start with Maple School for their most recent achievement. Dr. Buffy?
Very good. It's my pleasure to recognize Principal Susan Mercado and her staff this evening at Maple School for Title I Academic Achievement Award, and I'll just give a little brief on it and then we'll go from there. But the Title I Academic Achievement Award is given only to schools receiving federal Title I funds as authorized by the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Title I is the single largest federal educational program in K-12 public school education. Title I funds assist schools in meeting the educational needs of students living near or at the poverty level. Of the more than 9,000 schools in California, more than 6,000 of them participate in Title I program. To meet criteria for this distinction, the school must demonstrate that all students are making significant progress toward proficiency on California's academic content standards. And additionally, the school's socioeconomically disadvantaged students must have doubled the achievement target set for them for 2 consecutive years. Quite a feat to be done, and one of only, I think, 13 schools in all of Orange County. So it's our pleasure to recognize and congratulate Susan Mercado as principal and the staff at Maple School.
Come on up. I have a certificate for you, and there's a big event happening Thursday, right? For those that weren't aware, but we're proud of you. We're proud of what your staff has done, and of the students. I think it's so awesome that the students have embraced this model and are doing so well. So on behalf of the board, we'd like to recognize Maple School on this fantastic achievement that you have accomplished.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Congratulations, and I know you have some of your staff here, so
We
we'd
do.
like to have them stand and recognize them if you'd like to say a few words.
And I just wanted to share with you the award that State Superintendent Torkelson sent to our school, and also a banner that was sent just this past week. California Department of Education honors Maple Elementary School. And they sent us a flag too.
There we go.
You know, we're missing about 450 students standing behind this flag, and the most incredible staff that I've ever worked with in my 30 years in education. And not all of the staff could be here tonight, but I would like to introduce those who are here tonight. And so if you would come up and stand behind the flag, we'll get a group picture. Davey Lamb, Scott Beeson, Erica De La Osa, Jane Hernandez, Stephanie Guppy, Margie O'Donnell, who is retired but is here tonight, Shelley Behrens, Eva Ariola, Teresa Demieste, and Eva Ariola. Where's Eva? Oh, I'm sorry. Did we miss anyone? No.
Susan, you come.
And Susan Mercado.
Oh, come in. Please tell service.
I would just like to say that this team of professionals that stands before you tonight and in front of the board, you're just an amazing group because you've taken our kids and you don't just look at the 30 or 35 in your classroom, but you look at the school as a whole. And you've helped to build our school and shape the culture to make it the school it is today. And our community so deserves this opportunity to be called a Title I Academic Achievement Award. And you have built into the lives of the students that you've touched just an amazing gift, a legacy really for them for the future. And I am so blessed and so grateful to be working alongside you. This is a wonderful evening, and I'd like to thank the president of the board and board members, our superintendent and cabinet, for taking a few minutes to honor our school tonight. Thank you.
Keep it up.
We'll honor anyone that gets that award.
And I think some of you as board members are attending the special ceremony at Cal State Fort Marion.
Right, Thursday.
Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Come to their portrait.
10 to 4. Okay, now let's talk about some other highlights and recognition. Shannon, you're going to talk about our GATE program?
Yes. Congratulations, Maple staff, on your achievement. Yay. And tonight, we also have a presentation to our board on our district GATE program and also our district GATE certification program. We have a world-class, university-class teacher GATE certificate program that 3 very important people have designed, led by Ms. Gigi Kelly, our GATE program specialist, and also with the help of Julian Lee from Visler School and Heidi Cockrell. Would you please both stand up?
Thomas, the official gate mascot. So I'm going to turn this presentation over to Gigi to have her give you some information about our fantastic gate program.
Dr. Hovey, Board of Trustees, Cabinet. As you know, my name is Gigi Kelly, and I have the awesome job of being the gate program specialist for the Fullerton School District. And more than anything, I just want you to know I love this job because I get to do this. I get to honor our teachers. And before I share their names, I want to share a few facts about the Fullerton School District gate program. So, did you know? 963. As of today in Power School, there are 963 gate-identified students in FSD. That is about 6% of the students enrolled. Some are identified as general intellectual. That's the top 2%. Others are high achievers, and still others are part of Project Discover Gate. These categories have been suggested by the National Association of Gifted Children, endorsed by the California Association of the Gifted, but more importantly, adopted by the state of California as areas that need to be addressed in the identification process. Did you know? To meet the needs of all those students, in Fullerton, we have designated 4 schools where gifted students can learn with their gifted peers. These schools are Acacia, Golden Hill, Hermosa, and Laguna Road. But I'm sure by looking at 963 and then 4, you know there must be another way that we address the needs of our kids and other learning environments that we have. So, 20. Can you guess what that is? All the schools, you're right. Every school in FSD has gate-identified kids, including our Title I schools. Like me. We offer clusters in all of the schools in FSD. Parents are given the choice. This is where they get to choose the best academic placement for their students. Some kids might do better in a situation where they're with their academic peers because they need that intellectual stimulation. But other kids might need a little bit of social interaction. So the best placement would be their home school. And how are we to know when we look at them statistically? Only parents truly know what the best placement option is for their kids. So we here in Fullerton have a great program that the state has liked so much when they were doing approvals before they suspended them. We were given a 5-year approval because our program has breadth. Our junior high schools offer GATE and honors courses for those identified, and that's where we narrow it down to meet more specifically their needs. That's where the talents start coming out. We have advanced and honors arts and bands and music, so we can really identify those areas of need. So we have all these kids, and we have these great programs to address the needs of those kids at these 20 schools. So did you know? To meet the needs of all those kids, we now offer to our teachers in the Fullerton School District a GATE certificate. In this 9-session course in which we cover the important strategies and standards for teaching our students, these teachers learn those strategies or at least are exposed to them so that we're all speaking a common language. What is more amazing than just that is that more than GATE teachers are taking these courses. Last year, we had 64 dedicated teachers take the GATE certificate course, that 9-session course on Staff Development Wednesdays for an hour and a half each time. And it was so, they passed the word around, and there were lots of reasons for taking it. This year we had 87 complete the course. 87. Now, can you imagine what the staff development looks like? There are people packed all over, crammed into tables, but they want to be there. They came on days
where, we had the 5 mandatory days. They came to 9. Actually, they've come to 8. And they better come tomorrow. So that GATE certificate encompasses these certain things. Then I just want to give you a brief overview. The first 3 classes are about the introduction to the GATE education. What is GATE? How do we identify here in FSD? And then those social and emotional needs, and I teach that class. And then we talk about curriculum and developing curriculum within the classroom and how to meet the needs of those kids that are there, whether they're in a designated class or in a small cluster at another school. So we do curriculum compacting and differentiating the curriculum for those gifted kids and just give them lots of ideas about how to introduce the icons of depth and complexity or reach those kids that might already know what we're teaching. Heidi teaches that class. And then we really focus in on differentiated instruction for the gifted and talented program. And Julian spends time with alternative assessments, strategies, how to reach the kids that might have shut off because they were, what is the word they use all the time? Bored. We strive to let that not happen. So I couldn't do it without Heidi and Julian. Let me tell you, that's a lot of teaching. Now, the list you have in here is incomplete. A few names fell off, so I put them up in here. They're up here, and I will send you an updated list with everybody's name. But remember, they all have to show up tomorrow. And these are just the people that have been dedicated and committed. Again, there were only 5 mandatory days for them to come to staff development, and they chose to come to all 9. That time in there was used wisely, people were focused, and the discussions were at times intense, and other times full of really great questions, which is what we want. And again, tomorrow afternoon, about 10 minutes to 3 o'clock, we'll be awarding the certificates to those teachers that you just saw for their completion of the certificate program. So if you would like to come, please feel free. And to further offer the best to our students and to our teachers, we have partnered with Hope International University to give teachers the option of earning a university GATE certification. This certification takes the learning deeper and makes it more complex for teacher learning. And what's nice about a university certification versus an in-house certificate is it is transferable between districts. So that's why some of our teachers have chosen to do it. They want to say, I have a university certification, and working with Hope made it really nice. Any one of these teachers could take these units that they've earned, the 9 units that they've earned, and put it towards a master's degree in gifted education. We've written that into the whole plan. Not only did they commit to the 9 face-to-face sessions, but they participated in weekly online courses throughout the school year. We started in October and we're ending up, I think their courses were due today. And they all turned them in today, the day early. And they're all going, yes. And they not only earned that, but again, they earned the 9 units, graduate units at Hope. So, it is at this time, I would like to introduce the representative from Hope who has come to represent Dr. George West, who helped me create this program along with Janet Morey. We had this brainstorm, we came up with a great idea, and it has gone on for 2 years, and I believe we're going to continue again. So I'd like to introduce Corey DeWitt from Hope International, and she's going to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Just on behalf of the College of Education at Hope International University, it's a privilege to be here with you tonight. Most importantly, I want to say congratulations to all of you. Job well done. And Gigi and Heidi and Julian have done just a fantastic job in taking the lead on this collaborative. And all I have to say on behalf of Hope International is that we look forward to having opportunities in the future to continue to move forward with opportunities in education. Thank you very much.
And it's at this time I would like to recognize our teachers. We have Corey here who will be helping with the handing out, but we would also like to invite our board president and our superintendent up to help hand out these certificates. So Corey, you go there. I'm going to hand them to you because I figure I know who they are. Okay, girls, Alpha. Okay. They're going to come up. They'll take the certificate and then come down and shake hands. Got it? Okay. Debbie Myers. Oh, they're not in Alpha. Hannah Kim. Jamie Paz. Heather Kelly. Erica Ostergaard. Davy Lamb. Teresa Bendeniste. Rochelle Wolf. Karen Nelson. Maria Escobar could not be here tonight as she's had family tragedies. Scootien, Heidi and Julian, could you join them in the picture? Oh, we can do that.
Young ones to the front.
If you want to sleep tonight.
You got some tall behind you. You are fine.
Karen, okay, there you go.
You're still not in.
Julian. Hi, Karen. I know.
Sit down now. Sit down in front. You can't have some.
Again, I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to have the freedom in this district to meet the needs of our teachers. And hope to continue all of this.
It's exciting that so many teachers want to look at an opportunity to kind of expand their teaching methods. I think it's neat that they look at different ways to teach all students, so they're only going to benefit everybody. Good job, ladies. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations. And as we move to the next item, to the audience. Our next item would be our attendance report. So we will turn it over to Dr. Covey so that he can do his report. Now is the superintendent's report.
Where'd everybody go? We heard enough of this guy. Let's go.
Hi, guys. And then we have the back row.
We have the back row. Good to see you all back there. I just have a couple of things. I want to say again, congratulations to Maple School for their achievement. That is no easy feat, and we're proud of Maple School and the staff for accomplishing. He recognizes one of only 13 schools in all of Orange County to receive the Title I Academic Achievement Award. Looking forward to meeting Georgine with our PTA once again, and school site council and ELAC people when we have our don't look surprised. It's our meeting we have, it's our quarterly meeting where we talk about what's going on with the budget and all those things on Thursday. So look, I always enjoy that time. It's an opportunity for us to sort of share and for people in the community to sort of hear what's going on and keep you up to date. Very pleased also with the evaluation task force, and I want to thank Mark for the facilitating that he did as well as Stacy and Carla. Thank you for your help and participation, and all the principals that were part of that process really allowed us to have some focused conversations. And we had task force meeting number 2 just last week, and we had some good conversations as we moved beyond what effective teachers and effective principals are, and began looking at what might that instrument look like as far as the evaluation document. As a result of the work we did last week, we now have 2 subcommittees that will work a little bit this summer to see about what we can do to draft out some kind of instrument. We'll be coming back to meet with the overall task force again in the fall, and we'll see where that leads. But I just wanted to thank the association and for Mark Personnel Services and the staff for the work that they've done to help make this move forward, because it truly is a team effort, and it's a very timely discussion, and it's a discussion that not many other districts are yet having. So I'm proud of where we're at and what we're able to accomplish. Lastly, hard to believe, last day of school for students, right around the corner. I see some of the tired eyes of our principals are going, yep, and we couldn't come any quicker. June 16th, K6 and K7 are done, and then June 17th, we have our promotion ceremonies for our junior high schools, and I guess the K8 is on June 16th, but I think we're all signed up to go to one or more, and looking forward to it. It's always an enjoyable time to celebrate with our students and staff the completion of yet another school year. So congratulations. 10-11 is almost done, and we're already talking about 11-12. So looking forward to a wonderful summer, and hope you have this time to rest, reflect, and relax, and we'll be back before you know it.
Thank you. Information from Board of Trustees. I'll start at this end. Trustees Thompson?
I have a report.
Okay. And Trustee Bergman?
I have a quick report. I wanted to report back and let everyone know that I attended a breakfast along with Dr. Hubby last week regarding the NEWPAC collaboration, making connections, move more, eat healthy, Orange County. We did have representation from our school district. Becky Dorigo, the Fullerton Collaborative were there. And not only did they present, they participated in the actual conference talking about the issues that our children are facing with the obesity rates. Even though they are going down slightly, there's still issues at hand that we really need to try and bring down those obesity rates. And I was really happy to hear that NEWPAC has got a new campaign going out, and I believe we are collaborating with them and getting some federal funding or some type of funding to be able to increase our programs throughout next year and hopefully get a move on this. I did ask that we maybe make some kind of challenge with our staff as well, and I think I talked to Mark about that last year. And just trying to bring everyone's involvement in looking at fitness. We talked about the Governor's Challenge. Lots of our people signed up for that. In addition to that, maybe next year taking a different stance and really trying to promote wellness and promote activity in all of our schools, because I think if it starts at the top, then it will trickle down and model behavior to our students. So I would really love to see something at all schools with all staff as well.
Maybe before every board meeting.
Before our board meeting, we could do jumping jacks or
Something.
Yeah. Okay. That's how I'll report on tonight. Thank you.
Lightning Myers.
Jumping all around. Well, this is the last board meeting of the school year for you, and as I reflect back of all the different things that I've done, I really see the great things that Fullerton is doing, and when I read about some of the things that are going on in the country and the bashing that schools are getting, it really bothers me because I see the quality of education in Fullerton. I read in the paper about the National Merit Scholars and how many students that we had come out of Fullerton. And there was a gentleman who was thanking Fullerton Union High School for all that they did. And I was really pleased with the response that Chris Thompson made, and I will quote you on the response. He said, "I share congratulating them. I'm on the elementary school board, but we gave most of those kids their K-8 education. And so we are the foundation." And I have a couple little anecdotes to share with you from them. One of my students received one of those, And I wrote her a congratulation note email, and she responded to me and she said, "Hi, Mrs. Meyer, thank you for the congrats. I achieved this with the same perseverance and work ethic that I developed at Hermosa Drive, and will continue practicing these in my future college, Brown University. Best regards, Natasha." And I think that says a lot about what we're doing in the K-8 schools to get these kids ready. And also, when we went to the Chamber of Commerce Salute to Education honoring Hilda, there were 4 scholarships given to students who were just amazing, and several of them came through the Fullerton schools also. I also attended the Knights of the Round Table, and there was a former student, Simon Pody. He's graduating from Fullerton. He went to Nicholas, and he's getting a full scholarship at San Jose State. And he stood up there at the breakfast, and he mentioned teacher after teacher after teacher, principal, the different classrooms he had, the education that he got at Nicholas, and the education he got at the elementary school, which prepared him to do what he did. So I think the things we're doing, they're really doing well, and I applaud everybody who's doing the things that they're doing, and we are doing a great job, and I'd like to see that continue. All the open houses I've been going to, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but they've really been wonderful. And one of the things that I've really noticed at the open houses is there's a lot of creativity. Creativity is not going out the windows, but there's an adherence to the standards. And it was most impressive to see the balance of the creativity and the adherence to the standards. I love the production of Seussical at Hermosa, and I know, Robin, you were a big part of that production happening. That was really fun. And the Golden Hill Volunteer Tea, one of a couple that I attended, but that was a little bit closer to my heart because 50 years ago I started at Golden Hill, and my mom and dad volunteered there. And then 20 years ago I became a parent there, and I was a volunteer. And to see that room full of volunteers was really heartwarming, and I know it's going on at most of the schools, and to have those volunteers, it's the support system that we really need to make our schools even better than they are. Gigi, thank you for inviting us to the GPAC. That was a fun experience for all of us. Quite a few of us attended that and got to listen to the teachers doing that. And I know Hilda will say a lot more, but I do want to throw my thanks into so many of you who were either volunteering, or you were bidding, or you were eating, or you joined the fun at the Fullerton Technology Foundation. My living room is full of baskets and certificates, and we will be putting all those online. And I can't wait to sell those so that my husband has somewhere to sit. This morning, Beverly and I attended Richmond, and we walked through history with the 3rd through 6th graders, and we got to see a lot of fun things going on at Richmond. That was really rewarding. I look forward to the many events. There are still a lot of events going on in the last 8 days, and I wish all of you a very, very long, and at least it will seem long, summer vacation. Sit back, enjoy, and thank you for everything that you've done this year to make the kids, the community, and the schools a wonderful place to be in Fullerton.
Trustee Sugarman.
Just noticed something. Yeah, I want to echo what you said. That's lovely. And this is the end of the school year, so I absolutely want to thank all of our hardworking cabinet for the wonderful work that we've done this year under crazy, crazy situations between fluctuating budget and so many needs of our students in our schools, and our principals, except for Mr. Miramontes, who took issue with my cooking. The rest of you, I want to commend a wonderful year. We're only seeing, as Jenny pointed out, better and more wonderful things going on in our schools. I do want to take a moment to say goodbye to a good friend, Marilyn White. It's been a pleasure working with you all these years. We're going to miss you. Your heart for children, your heart for bringing the best out of people, and holding them accountable at the very same time is exceptional. And I think that all of us who have had any sort of student dealings with you can hardly believe that you could be going somewhere away from us. It's going to be a hard position to fill. Truly and truly, you've done a remarkable job. I think the position was created with you from the heavens. So thank you. I really do want to thank all of you who participated in the auction in any way whatsoever, because it takes everything to make something good happen. It takes those who donate, it takes those who buy it, it takes those who set it up, it takes those who take the time to make the phone calls, gather the goods, and get dressed up for the evening. So every one of you, thank you. I know you've already marked June 2nd, 2012. So when I ask in the future, the date will be right there. And believe it or not, we already have a couple donations for June 2nd, 2012. And when, like all events that occur, whether they're at home, at school, at your grandmother's house, there are ripple effects that come to you that are just wonderful. And I want to relate a statement I got from the president, Dr. Burdine, at Fullerton College. He wrote me a note this morning, and in the note he said, just to clarify, Fullerton College sponsored a table for us. That's very expensive. Then they spent a lot of money against the recommendation of Mr. Miramontes to have dinner at my house. And with all of this, he wrote a note saying it was joyful to donate to the Fullerton Technology Foundation because Fullerton Junior College recognizes that the level of academics achieved by their students starts down in the elementary district, and it is a direct interest of theirs to support our school system. Now, Janny mentioned a moment ago the reverse, children at one end, going ahead and looking a little bit back. But this is a college saying we're in it together, K-14 education, and we need to share and do and support one another. And I appreciate he and his foundation board sharing their philosophy with me and with us, because that's really a wonderful partnership to have. So thank you all, and we look forward to bringing you good things this coming year through monies that you helped us to raise.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll just add my words of congratulations. You made it through another year. This is that time of year when everyone does reflect on accomplishments and goal achieving and plans for the summer and set the goals for next year. And let's offer up to our 8th graders, as we do pass them on to the high school district, much success. We know that we have done our best to prepare them for a very successful future, and it's fun. It is fun at that ceremony to see the family celebrate that accomplishment. It's when there's a family behind you, those kids know that there's support, and us showing that support to them, we know will lead to great things for them. So enjoy the last few days of school. These are usually the best times. And then in September, that song begins. I love it. That it's the most wonderful time of the year, because the parents will be ready to send them all back to you. So. Okay, moving on. Information from our PTA.
Good evening, everybody. I have a short and sweet report. First of all, I would like to piggyback off of Hilda. We're going to miss you, Marilyn. You were such a wonderful lady to all of our babies. I call them babies. I know they're kids, but I call them babies. And to have the heart that you have and the knowledge that you have to help these guys and these babies is just, whoever takes your shoes has some pretty big shoes to fill. So I hope they come with the same heart that you have. So, and have fun with your family.
It's good to have big as the number of shoes she has.
Well, I know she's very fashionable, and I was going to say something about that because she's volunteer hours, and I mean, it's a lot of volunteer hours that all of them do. I can't see with my glasses on, this close. I'd like to thank the principals for a wonderful partnership that we've had through the years and to continue. Looking forward to the summer for some R&R, so you all be ready to tackle the new school year for next year. And I will not be at the next school board meeting because I will be on vacation with my family. And enjoy your summer.
You're gonna miss us.
Yes, for just a
Come back in
minute.
July.
I'll be back in July. I don't think our job's ever done, so. And just enjoy your family and have a safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you. MBTA.
First of all, I'd like to, on behalf of FETA, congratulate the Fullerton Technology Foundation for the great opportunity that we had to participate in the wine auction event Saturday. I haven't done anything like that before, and it was a great deal of fun and an elegant evening.
But you were disappointed in Ramon, weren't you?
Oh,
I thought
sure.
Douglas.
Yes, I was appalled. Take a beating. This will likely be the last official report from FETA since school will be ending on June 16th or 17th. It has been a distinct pleasure to have a part in the school board meetings, and I hope the sharing of our concerns and dissemination of information relating to union work and issues affecting students have been enlightening, if not even maybe a little inspiring. Although summer will put us into a different proximity, teachers, as you might know, are continuing to work to improve their curriculum, working to continue earning an income, or taking classes to develop our own expertise so that our students can be the best prepared possible. Some of us may actually be resting, reconnecting with our families, or rejuvenating so that our students have us fit and ready to work enthusiastically in September. Some of us will continue working on issues begun during the school year. We are considering what our new evaluation and teacher principal assessment might look like, as Dr. Hovey mentioned. Others of us will be traveling to Chicago for the NEA-RA at the end of June, first week in July. During this time, teachers from every state in the nation will come together to consider issues that improve the academic experience of students from kindergarten through junior college. FETA members are going to investigate our own bylaws and work on making our union activities as effective as they can be for the 2011-2012 school year. It is the hope of FETA that everyone will experience a safe, restful summer and return in the fall ready to address our students with the best year that they will ever have had. Thank you.
CSEA?
Good afternoon. Dr. Hovey, President Philomene, members of the board cabinet. I just want to reiterate, I don't think I'll thank you guys last meeting, but thank to everyone who was able to come to our banquet. It's always joyful to have that time with you, and also to FETA and FESMA members for being present. And we'd also like to join in congratulating all the FETA Teachers of the Year and retirees. I know their celebration is this week. We share that joy.
And our last chance for information from ESMA.
No report.
No report. The information is up in on our website for our calendar, and you can check that out if you want to catch the last bit of after end of school year activities. The next item is to approve the minutes from our May 24th meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve our minutes from our May 24th meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's carried. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. Highlighting, as always, the wonderful gifts received. In this one, we're acknowledging the receipt of all that great money from the Rotary Club, which is another great partner. It's wonderful every time we talk about all the great community partners and what they do for our students. I would entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda at this time.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any items anyone would like to discuss or ask questions about?
I have a comment on item 1H.
That's mine.
Oh, we could do it together.
I'm sure we want to say the same thing. What an honor that Ted Lai, this is about, he was one of 100 veterans ADE selected to attend this year's ADE Summer Institute. And there are like over 1,500, and he was one of 100 to be selected. You want to add to that?
Yeah, PTA is probably distinguished educators. This is for the world. This is not just for California or the United States. To be selected as one. And there's a second one, and that is Mrs. Locke. And I hope we get a discount on room rates.
Room sharing.
Absolutely, statistically, impossibly proud of you. I'm not going. I'm not going, but we are just so proud. We're proud of everybody who receives honors in our district, and we like to celebrate them all, and for the Flash All.
Yes.
So awesome.
Any other items that anyone would like to discuss? All in favor of approving consent items 1A through 1M, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All those carried, 5-0. Our action items tonight start off with us approving the pupil attendance calendar for the 2011-2012 year. Here we are celebrating the end of the year and turning right around to say, but we'll see you back at the end of August. So I will turn this over to Mark.
Mark, the one date that's not here is when administration comes down.
That's not usually added on. Administration is coming back, I believe, August the 10th. Those who are invited back, that is. We're not sure if Ramon's coming back.
Pepto-Bismol.
Ramon and I may not be back. But that's not usually this. Is the student attendance calendar for the most part, so it's for students and with some reference for parents and teachers. From the last time we met, there have been no adjustments or comments from the community. Negotiations is still taking place at certain aspects of this. And the date we discussed last time, which was October the 6th, we've now put on that calendar to be determined because we know that we're going to make an adjustment with that. And in our last negotiation sessions, FETA offered a suggestion, and we're in the process of trying to get a good settlement as far as what would be a good date to move in, etc. Other than that, no community comments. I don't know if there's any tonight. There's the one thing notes. So it would stand as a staff.
I move that we approve the Fullerton School District 2011-12 pupil attendance calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's 5-0 on our calendar. So, EPA can get the word out. Next item is the board policy, a new board policy having to do with the business and non-instructional operations fund balance. So, Gary, would you like to address this item?
You bet. This is the second reading and recommendation for approval for board policy 3112. Many thanks to Kathy Acola for all her help during this formation of this to put this thing together. You remember from last time, this is the Government Standards and Accounting Board. It's standard for standardizing the way funds are classified in schools throughout the United States. They have broken them down into a recommended group of balances: non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned. And the board policy also mentions the authority to commit funds is the board's and the board's alone. And the authority of the assistant superintendent of business is allowed to assign funds to transfer from one to the other and ultimately bring to the board for the assignment of those funds by a simple majority. The bottom line here is the county office is requiring this as through federal law. We have to have this adopted and in place by June 30th, 2011, or they will not positively certify our budget. This is a condition of doing this, and this becomes applicable this year. So, without further ado, we hope that you will consider this approved.
So moved.
There's a motion to approve board policy 3112. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and second. Are there any further questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will now be in full compliance. Yes. Thank you for that quick vote. Our next item is a resolution having to do with negotiations and reserving the right to negotiate.
This item is brought forward to the board in the sense that we still have negotiations to resolve, and the state hasn't completed the budget as of this time. And when there's negotiations still left to be resolved for classified, certificated managers, etc., and there's not a resolve, we need to post this, notifying all employees that there may be a chance for the salary schedule that they leave on June the 30th may in fact be different when they return to work in the next fiscal year. And so this is a notice to them that there may be changes or adjustments as negotiations occur throughout the summer. If in fact this notice wasn't given, then no adjustments could be given or adjusted to the salary schedules of any employee after June 30th.
All
There
right.
was also one more thing. There was one question brought by one of the board members, who I can't remember exactly who it was. It didn't mention management. It mentioned certificated and classified, and managers are one of those, certificated and or classified. So it covers all employees within the district.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
I so moved.
It's been moved that we adopt resolution 10/11-25. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any further questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I have a question. Isn't this the time of the year we usually pass a resolution if we need money to go forward?
You're talking about trans?
Mm-hmm.
We're in the process of working that out at this point. We will have to pass a resolution until we actually get into the process. And if it's a mid-year trans, it'll probably come in the fall.
Okay. I just didn't want you to leave us.
He has one more.
Yeah.
Still time.
And
Right?
Okay,
I
item
think they
2.
were more concerned than what
Item 2D has to do with the contract for our new Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Susan Hume, which will commence July 1.
Susan, again, was announced last board meeting. This is her contract that's going forward. There have been adjustments in what actually is on the table in front of you, because there's a couple of grammatical pieces that need to take place.
As board members, some of us, we have a revised copy.
We have a revised
We have a
copy.
revised copy.
You don't have the revised copy, and there's a couple grammatical pieces in it, in one of those sentences that need to be adjusted. So I didn't give you a copy of that. If you want to give me a second, it's on a printer, and I can certainly give you a copy.
Thank you. I can share it.
Well, would you like me to get
I thought we had one.
You made revisions based upon what was discussed.
That's correct.
Any input?
Strikeouts on this?
Yeah.
So the
Page
context,
She does now.
Page 5.
it's the context that's okay.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some grammatical pieces that I had to adjust.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract for our new Assistant Superintendent of Business Services.
I'd like to move to approve the modification. I think that it is unnecessary that we offer a new employee a 2-year contract. I've heard arguments made that it is necessary, but I see no downside in offering a 1-year contract, and if the candidate decides not to accept it, we could potentially consider making modifications, but I think in this economy and in this labor market and in general, I don't know why we would choose to offer a 2-year contract unless it was absolutely necessary, and I don't think it's necessary. I would further move that we reduce the car allowance from $400 to $200. This position does not require very much driving. Once somebody arrives to work, the package is worth well over $200,000. So I would move the contract with those two modifications.
Is there a second?
Mr. Douglas, do you know what the pitch is worth exactly? If we add everything up?
It depends on what you mean by the package. If you're including the health and welfare the district supplies on employees, it all depends on what level of health and welfare that individual would take.
Do you have a range?
It ranges anywhere from just about $6,500 to just under about $19,000, depending on where it's
No, I
PPO.
meant a range, I'm sorry, a range of salary.
A range for
Salary.
what's in this package, I don't, it's not $200,000. It's not near $200,000. But if you'd like, I can take calculator to it and.
You're saying this package is not worth $200,000 with pension contribution and ultimate receipt of pension?
Ultimate receipt of pension.
It's an annuity that's worth significant money in present value. Anyway, it's debatable. It's certainly worth $200,000 of pure salary, for sure, but that's my opinion. I'm not implying the contract's too rich. I'm implying it's too long for a first right out of the gate hire. And the car allowance strikes me as nothing more than a perk that I can't get a direct answer as to whether or not these things are necessary to win an employee of this caliber. And on top of the fact I wasn't able to meet any of the other candidates. I made the motion.
There's a motion, is there a second? Hearing none, we will move back to the potential of approving the contract for our new superintendent for the revised contract in front of us, which is a 2-year contract. Is there a motion to approve that contract? There's a motion to approve a 2-year contract for our new superintendent, Susan Hume. Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve this contract. Any further discussion or any more questions?
I have a couple of comments. I think Chris's point is well taken about the 1 year, and I think in the future we should really look into that. It's a practice of the county and a practice in the state that if you want a really well-qualified person is what we really need in this budgetary time. We really need to go for someone with 2 years because we probably would not get this person. That's historical. I have a couple of friends who are CFOs in the county, and they would never accept this position if it were a 1 year. But I do think in the future we should look at that. I think your point is well taken. On a second note, I'd like to thank Cabinet for their time spending. I had quite a few questions, and I analyzed the contract at great length, and they were very open and very kind to spend the time and put the effort in to explain things to me, and I feel really confident that we have a good package here. to get the best person that we can for the position.
May I ask you a question, and I appreciate the compliment that it was a good point. What needs to change for us to look at this in the future? What's going to be different that causes us to do this in the future?
Well, the suggestion I made, which I'm not sure would fly, but one suggestion that I would make is when we do fly the position, we would start off and say it's a one-year position, and then we could see what kind of people we would get. And if we don't get the quality of people, we might want to refly the position at 2 years.
When we flew it, did we mention it was a 1 year?
No, but we could. I mean, that's an option that we do.
Why?
So that you could see what kind of applicants would come if they knew it was only 1 year, who would rise to the occasion and who wouldn't.
I have one other question for you, and then I'll be done. Since you were brave enough to come up with some comments. What's the downside of offering? And let's say she refuses. And we'd at least have the option to say, you know what, we changed our minds, we'll offer you a 2 year. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but what's the downside?
Well, personally, I think when you're looking for the best person and everybody in the county is getting 2 years, and you say, well, we're only going to give you 2 years, it's sort of a slap in the face. It's an insult. I think
A 1 year contract's an insult?
Personally, I think so.
Wow.
Let me also say that this position requires quite a lot of skills and talent, and for this person that we're recommending that was approved at the last board meeting, this person comes to us with a lot of experience and skills. So for us to bring someone and ask someone to leave their district to come to our district and accept a 1 year contract is rather risky. And in fact, in talking with my colleagues, as they have put out advertisements for chief financial officers, in fact, they have had to fly this thing 2 and 3 times. So the fact that we have an outstanding person that we will be bringing to our district, the supply is low and the demand is high as far as getting the most qualified person. And for myself personally, if it were a 1 year contract, I'd have to think twice, because it really is a risky, offer. And to come to another district when you really don't know the board, you're not sure of how they'll react, you need to give them at least a year to be able to understand and learn what the district is about, to be able to learn more about the budget, and that takes at least 2 years.
What do you attribute the difference in the private sector and the public sector to when you say it's risky and people take jobs of this caliber all the time on an at-will basis and look at the organization? We're an excellent organization, evaluate that organization's history. We haven't fired anybody in my knowledge in a decade. Well, why do you think that it's so risky to come forward to them for 1 year versus, making a decision on an at-will basis in the public sector?
We're asking people to leave. We're asking someone to leave the security where they're already at, where they already have a 2 or 3 year contract.
That's the same in the private
And
sector.
for them to come to another district for a 1 year contract is risky, and in fact would probably curtail the number of applicants, highly qualified applicants that would apply for this position.
Would you agree if this applicant is good, that it's not risky? Would you agree that if this applicant comes here and performs, that she is not at very much risk of losing her job after 1 year?
Depends upon how she would perform, and I expect that she would perform very well.
Me too. That's my point.
But
I don't think a good applicant has much to worry about. Yet we're locking the taxpayer in 2 years.
And you very well may be right, but on the other hand, to ask someone to leave their district for the security where they're already at that has a 2 or 3 year contract, it's very risky to accept.
Do you think if she asked and said no, she'd be so offended that she would not even field a second offer for more time?
I don't know how she would react, but I do know that then that means we don't meet again until the end of June. And if we're expecting this person to start on July the 1st, it would be even more risky for us to wait until June 28th to bring it back here to have it reconsidered by the board.
Right. Well, I want to say for the record, my assumption is this is going to be a very good applicant, and all of the reviews that we've gotten back are very good. The reference references were excellent. It was a significant frustration to me that Dr. Hovey and I discussed and resolved that we weren't as a board able to meet other candidates of a cabinet level, but hopefully in the future that will not be the case. So anyway, I'm done.
I wanted to comment.
I keep saying I'm done.
I know.
If I don't get to go last, I might not be done. I'm trying to be done, but
The spirit in this country, yeah, turn it off. No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's all right.
teasing. The spirit in this country is changing. And the public is looking at public employees in different ways. Our state is looking at laws differently. The board is looking at contracts differently. So Mrs. Yu is sort of caught in a funny place with Fullerton School District. We have 5 people pretty excited to have her come here, and we do not question her, not only her integrity, her caliber. She also has an incredibly engaging spirit that is going to make it lovely to work with her. At least it feels that way in the few interactions we have had with her. So here she is, coming to a new school district where she doesn't know the 5 of us, or our captain probably that well. And where we know our history, she doesn't necessarily know it. And we want to impose new levels of contract on her that are different than historically and different than the other people who work here. My feeling is that you're absolutely right. I agree with you. I agree with Shannon. I agree with Mitch. But I would hope that soon, as a group, as a cabinet and a board, we'll sit down and we'll talk about all this together, and we can come out with better resolutions for the future in the expense department, in the emotional department. But starting with a brand new employee is probably not the best place to start with this limitation to a year. Not to say the next contracts, we won't look at that and consider it, because we've given our entire cabinet fair warning that it's not personal, and they may want to come back and give us fair warning that we take it personal. So we have work to do as a board to work through this, and it's always important for people to get together and figure these things out in an amicable way to move the business forward amicably, and that's part of the whole process.
And amicable's fine, and I appreciate your comments. I just hope in the future that there's at least as much discussion about our fiduciary obligation to the taxpayers and the students to get the best at the best value. And we spend far more time in this district and in public education talking about medians, typical expectations. We spend very little time talking about value, and value is the best, frankly, at the best price. And we don't spend very much time talking about that. That's a frustration.
And one more
So that's what we
closing
have to
comment
do.
that I have. We made some strides tonight.
We did. And
We did.
you made some great change. Give Jenny credit for
So we've
she
made
saved
a
the
start.
taxpayers some money potentially on pension issues with the tax did.
So we're moving ahead, and as an old person, I appreciate the new thinking that you all bring to the board, and it's good. Thank you.
Okay, back to the issue at hand, which is the contract that will be, at this point, on the floor to be a 2-year contract, which is, I believe, a vote of confidence in her abilities to handle the job we are about to set forth with her. So, in hearing no further discussion?
Did somebody move it?
Yes. Yes, moved in second? Correct. Yep. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Simply on the 2-year component, not on the candidate, I vote no.
Okay, that motion carries 4-1. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. So, do any of our board members here have anything, items they would like to place on the future agenda?
I don't know if we need to agendize it, but I would like to at least get comment, or at least a commitment from the super that in public session that in the future, if we are unfortunate enough to need to look for any new cabinet members, that we will be given the opportunity to meet your top few candidates, and not just your top candidate.
I think we've had that discussion earlier.
I don't know if we had it in public session.
No.
Request.
Yeah, if that's the will of the board, I'm certainly willing to look at that.
Well, if that's your response, then I would move to agendize it, because I would like to make a policy. I would like to agendize discussing making a policy that when we go on jobs, when we candidate searches for cabinet, job searches for cabinet level people, that we create a process that involves us getting an opportunity to meet the top several candidates as the superintendent is able to find.
Would you allow a tweak to that?
Sure.
That we have.
Well, we consider it, sure.
That we would have a workshop where we discuss our views of how we want things in the future, different issues, not just that single issue, and then we all talk about it and
Sure.
consensus. Would that be okay?
Sure.
And
Do
that
you want to just ask the super to put that in our next workshop?
Yeah, I thought that.
That's fine with me.
Thank you.
I would withdraw the motion then.
And that way we talk about contracts as well.
So it sounds like we will be talking in the near future, and you all are welcome to the next workshop as we discuss contracts and hiring policies. Hearing no further items for the future beyond that, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you for joining us, and have